I'm your anchor Kai Allen, and you're back with Top News. Today we will be discussing the impact of labor movements on the Industrial Revolution. Prior to the Industrial Revolution, manufacturing was often done in people's homes, using hand tools or basic machines. Within the 19th century, there became a greater need for labor. The Industrial Revolution demanded high supply from companies in order to accommodate those needs. Workers were pushed into unjust limits in order to increase production. The union movement was composed of working people who advocated for better working conditions, treatment of employees, and higher wages. And now we have Juliana with some of our special guests.
Thanks, Kai. I'm Juliana, your co-host, and today I'll be talking with three important figures who had major contributions to the labor movement. Thank you for joining us, William Gladstone, Samuel Gompers, and Ramsay MacDonald. So let's begin with William Gladstone. I hear that you are the leader of the Liberal Party in England. What are your opinions on how the government should be run in regards to business?
First, thank you for having me here today. Now, to answer your question, I believe in a laissez-faire type of government. There should be limited government expenditure and low taxation while still maintaining a balanced budget and the idea of freedom of choice.
Interesting. And I've heard a little bit about this concept of Gladstonian liberalism. Can you expand on that for our viewers?
Surely, Gladstonian liberalism is a political doctrine named after yours truly. It emphasizes free trade, little government intervention in the economy, and equality of opportunity through institutional reform. It is referred to as laissez-faire or classical liberalism in the UK.
So just to reiterate, you believe that government shouldn't be playing such a major role in business spheres. In quote from the People's Charter, drafted in 1838 by William Lovett, this was at the heart of a radical campaign for parliamentary reform of the inequities remaining after the Reform Act of 1832. Do you believe this is too far an intrusion of government or necessary involvement?
This is all I'm going to say. More government, more problems, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, let's move on to our next guest, Samuel Gompers, and his thoughts on the labor movement. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I was the first serving president of the American Federation of Labor. I was the one who established its still-standing structure and strategies. Under my leadership, the AFL became the largest and most influential labor federation in the world.
Do you think that the creation of unions brings overall negative effects to the business as a whole, seeing that alongside unions come strikes, work stoppages, and loss in value overall?
No, on the contrary, labor unions helped spread the balance of power more evenly so that laborers could bargain for more rights such as more pay and better working conditions.
That's a very valid point you make. Now, Mr. MacDonald, you were the first Labour Party politician to become Prime Minister, so you must feel similarly to Gompers.
Yes, I fully support unionization.
The Chartist obtained 1.25 million signatures and presented the Charter to the House of Commons in 1839, where it was rejected by a vote of 235 to 46. Many of the leaders of the movement, having threatened to call a general strike, were arrested. When demonstrators marched on the prison at Newport, demanding the release of their leaders, troops opened fire, killing 24 and wounding 40 more. Do events like these affect your support for strikes?
You know, there are casualties in any necessary movement. It's just another factor we have to recognize.
Well, this has been very insightful, so thank you all for being here.
Oh hey, didn't see you there. Thanks, Juliana. Now to wrap up, let's summarize the pros and cons of the labor movement. Labor unions help workers get better benefits because when workers are employed and unionized, they have a much better chance at receiving essential benefits from their employers. The laws developed during these movements set minimum wage standards and maximum work hours. The negative effects included unbalanced power between industry and laborers created from the first few labor movements. It negatively affected employers because people going on strikes meant an expandable workforce no longer existed. Free market weakens as choices are limited. Thank you for joining us today on Top News, and tune in next week while we discuss sports in industrial Europe.